Stepping out, it's Friday night.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So to start off this sexy sultry vixen makeup tutorial for Valentine's Day, we're going to be doing the eyebrows out of the way. Like always, I am just taking my Benefit 24-hour brow gel and brushing her hairs out of the way and up, just so they're all going in the same direction before beginning to carve out the bottom of her brow and cover up any unwanted hairs. And just going to be priming our eyelid. I am using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer to do this. It has become my favorite eye primer to use because it's so full coverage. It dries down super matte. It makes all the colors so much more blendable and so much more vibrant. And I'm just making sure to apply this, patting it down. By patting it down, we're creating a much more even surface and an even amount of product all over her eyelid. And then it's also helping to dry the product even faster by patting. And then we are taking this from the inner corner all the way down to the very tops of her cheekbone. For the first color, we're actually going to be starting off with Mischief, which is a very dark, matte, rich brown from the Colourpop Yes Please palette. And I'm applying this first with a very teeny tiny brush. This may seem scary to work with like the darkest color first, but in order to carve out and create this more of a rounded eyelid shape, it's necessary to do so because it'll be much harder and much more chalky and choppy to blend if we were to go in reverse order. I applied that with the Morphe M507 brush, by the way. Then to help to start blend everything out, I am going to be taking the Morphe R30 brush and I'm using a mixture of colors. I'm using Chauffeur and also it was Louis. And that's helping to blend out all of the dark brown and make it a little bit more blown out. It got a little choppy towards the outer V, but we're gonna go back and fix that. You'll see later. Right now, I'm just gonna be brightening up the center of her eyelid again. I didn't wanna do a cut crease. I wanted to do like a soft type of like halo eye almost, but mainly it's just to manipulate her eyelid shape. So this gives her a more of a rounded appearance. And once I'm done pressing that shape tape on the center of her eyelid, I'm going back in and blending everything out. So it kind of helped blend it out, the choppiness that happened towards the outer V. For the liner, I wanted something very striking. I didn't want to do like too much of a sweet, little wing. I wanted something a little bit thicker. And I think this is great to see because she has very hooded eyes. But just because you have hooded eyes does not mean that you cannot do a fierce wing. It's all about knowing where to place your wing. So hers goes out a little bit more straighter instead of upturned, so we don't lose that wing effect. And I'm using my L'Oreal gel liner to do this. We're keeping things simple today and priming her face with the MAC Prep and Prime. Her skin was feeling pretty normal. It's been pretty dry, cold weather down here in the lower part of Texas, but she has pretty normal skin and I wasn't feeling anything too oily or too dry. So just to keep things nice and fresh. For foundation, we're using, of course, the Milani Conceal and Perfect, although I am thinking about trying out a new foundation in my kit. I don't know. We'll see. If I do, I'll definitely let you guys know what I'm using. But for now, we're sticking with my favorite, which is Milani. And I'm applying this all over her face, first with a foundation brush, just to spread the product evenly. And instead of using a beauty blender today, I decided to use a Real Techniques multitasking brush. It's kind of a fluffier brush. And kind of same concept with the eye primer. I'm patting it down so it starts to dry and we keep a very full coverage. Next, I'm going to be highlighting underneath her eyes with a Colourpop concealer. The name rubbed off, like the little sticker came off on the bottom, so I don't know the shade, but if you guys have ever used the Colourpop concealers, you'll know that they're bomb. I really like them. I enjoy using them a lot and they're really inexpensive. And for this, I am using a beauty sponge because I don't want to be too invasive underneath her eyes. So just keep that in mind. If you are using a brush, just make sure it's a very soft and smaller brush so we're not poking our client's eyes. I'm then be taking that sponge and dipping it into Rcma No Color powder and pressing it so that we're setting the center of her face where we place that concealer. Next, I am just going to be highlighting the center of her face with a little bit of the yellow shade from the Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette. Before bronzing with a large powder brush, I am using the NARS Laguna bronzer, and I'm just taking this all over the perimeter of her face, like along her hairline on the forehead, on her cheeks, and of course just a little bit on her nose and chin, and just lightly applying some on her jawline. I don't like to go too heavy on hers because she does have a very defined jaw already. For a little bit of glow and bronze and contour, I'm going to be using the Pure Cosmetics Bronze and Brighten Trio palette, and I'm using the bronzy shade in there. It is gorgeous, and it's a really good contour shade for like that glowy type of look, but it still gives you that definition on your cheekbones. For highlight, I am using the new MAC Cosmetic Hyper Real Glow, and this one is gold coasting, and I'm applying it with a very small dense brush, rubbing it across her skin to get a very intense highlight. We wanted this to be like packed full of glow. So in order to get that, we are just applying it with this brush using this method instead of using a taper brush, which will give a little bit of a softer glow. But as you can tell, this look is not to play around. I'm then going to be using the Bare Minerals Nude Blush in that peach though. I think that's what it's called. They came out with a new line of blushes and they're really cute. I'm then going to be finishing off the eyes. I'm taking that dark matte brown that we used first with a flat shader brush. This is 252 from, wait, is it 252 from MAC? Actually, I'm not too sure. I always forget the names. And it rubbed off, so I don't have the name anymore. But you all know, it's like the classic MAC shader brush. I'm then going to be taking a pencil brush and rubbing along the other shades that we used in the crease to help smoke this out. I did want this to be pretty smoky. And with that being said, I added a liner to her waterline. This is the Essence Black Gel Liner. And before I get any questions on like sanitation and stuff of my products, I am planning to do an updated video on how I sanitize my stuff, because I get asked a lot about my channel, and it's something that it's kind of annoying because I think everyone has their own methods of how they do it, and everyone has their own opinions of how it's done. So yeah, everyone's different, guys. Just keep that in mind. Then I'm going to be applying her lipstick. This is the MAC and patrickstarrr collab in Patrick Woo. And after adding the lashes and mascara, I felt like her eyes were missing something. I brightened up the inner corner with a matte bright white shade. So it's not shimmery, it's just matte and it's white, super bright. I'm then just cleaning up her lip line. By the way, the base of her lipstick was the Tarte XOXO lip paint. And then I'm just going back in and doing little tweaks and fixes, and this is the completed look. Absolutely love, love, love the way it came out. She wears it so well. Let me know what you're going to be wearing on Valentine's as far as makeup. I'm curious to know. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up this video, and follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Links are down below.